John Carroll Lynch here. Hello! I'm here. I just have one little tiny piece of advice, which is don't go out there. Don't go out there.
In a world where zombies, ghosts, serial killers, and vampires all exist, it's Nico, Brian, Mike, and Dustin, and they are all that stand between you and the films that could end the world. Welcome to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast. Just want to thank all of our fans and listeners. Really appreciate the support. You guys are awesome. Before we get into tonight's film review, just want to give a quick shout out to our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Everything about our podcast is on the website. All of our episodes and interviews, if you want to check those out. We've done some incredible interviews in the past. Go check them out there in a specific tab by themselves so you don't have to scroll through hundreds of episodes on Apple or Spotify, etc. We also have our store if you want to grab a shirt, a mouse pad, a hat, all that good stuff. We'd love to see your pictures, rep your favorite podcast. And Shan's Etsy page is also attached if you want to grab a tumbler. All of our social media links are on there as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Like us, subscribe us, follow us, all that good stuff. And the last thing I want to shout out on our website is our Patreon. We call it Blood Donors. We have the traditional monthly reoccurring kind. If you want to support us, help us pay the bills, as we say. Or if there's a movie you want us to review, that option is available as well. Just check out our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Also, if you haven't noticed, we've recently joined the Believe Network. So there's some ads on our program now. But if you want ad-free content, go check us out on Blood Donors. The ad-free episodes will be available there. We appreciate your support. We hope you enjoy the episode. All right, guys, get into the film review. We're taking on legendary blood donor Mike Azelson. He has returned. He has picked another movie for us to watch. He chose 2015's The Invitation. This is a movie that I had not seen until this week. And brother Mike Azelson, I liked your movie. I enjoyed it. I like the creepy atmosphere. I know me and Dustin are just not going to be in this one together. I liked a lot of the sound choices they did with what's his name? Will. I'm thinking of his name is Logan Marshall Green, but he's Will in this movie. I like the sound choices they use as he walks outside and through the house. I don't know, it just built a pretty creepy atmosphere to me. I enjoy the movie. I don't think it's perfect. I do agree with you that the ending is kind of predictable, but it was chaotic and I liked it. Like I bought the movie on Vudu. It was only $5 and I was like, I'm not watching this on Peacock because me and my mom actually watched it yesterday before I did my notes, and Peacock and Hulu are terrible with the ads. Like you get an ad like every 50 seconds, it seems like. So for $5, I just bought it. I'll watch it again in the future. Mike Azelson, I liked your pick, brother. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, that money, man, that's it. Let me tell you, man. Yeah, so The Invitation 2015, released in 2016, not to be confused with The Invitation from 2022. And look, that's my fault, but it really pissed me off. I'm not going to lie there. If someone could please pick The Invitation from 1973 or The Invitation from 2003 with Lance Hendrickson as well, we can just make it the fucking Invitation month. But anyway, all right, my bad. So let me get into this since I'm doing the scene by scene. Bottom line, I hated this movie until the last set of scenes. The ending saved the entire movie from me. I think Logan Marshall Green did fantastic all the way through. He absolutely carried the film. It was full of tension. It made me feel uncomfortable in the way that it's absolutely supposed to. It truthfully reminded me, I said this off air, reminded me a lot of Midsommar, but the setting obviously is different. And the ending is what grabbed me, whereas obviously Midsommar did the opposite. So I think that these are two very good examples for me of movies that relied heavily on the ending for me. So anyway, I liked it. Michael Azelson, thanks for the donation.
Yeah, so I like and hate this movie all at the same time. Like I can't really put it in any other words than that. I like a good slow burn, and this movie does make me feel uncomfortable throughout the entire runtime. So it accomplishes that goal. However, to me, there is such a thing as too slow of a burn. Like if I'm roasting a marshmallow over an open fire, I like a good slow burn, but I'm not going to sit there for an hour barely touching the flame. At some point, I got to have my marshmallow done so I can make a fucking s'more, okay? Maybe that's a bad example. I don't know. But to me, it felt like this movie was crock-potting itself forever. And they kept kind of hanging this thing that happened in the past over my head. And to me, and maybe this is the shitty ass, attention span. I don't know. But it took so long to get to what happened with Will and Eden. And I just think we're an hour and 7 minutes in until we find out what happened. The runtime's got another 33 minutes left. So it's not bad per se. It just really took a long time. And I had some, fun in the chat earlier with just how terrible all the people at this party is. Like, this party is the lamest party. I know, I think maybe a month or so ago, Dustin and who I think it was Brian talked about how they hated the guy in the corner playing the guitar at a party. Totally understand that, by the way. I also hate that guy, even though I've been that guy. However, everybody at this party was one of those guys to me. Like, this party, I would have left in a second. The minute they started trying to give me therapy, I'm out. So, Mike, I actually like this movie, but I also hate it because it takes for fucking ever to get to, like Brian said, the last set of scenes, which I think is a good payoff. Just wish we'd started it a little bit earlier. That's all.
Yeah, I had never seen this movie either. First of all, Brian, you brought up Midsommar. I just want to wish everyone a happy Midsummer as we're recording. It's one of the keystone movies that molded me. It's a great film. Anyway,
that's not surprising whatsoever.
Shout out to the GOAT, Ari Aster, Brian's GOAT. Anyway, I'd never seen this movie, and I gotta be honest with you, I think that this is a remarkably unremarkable movie. Like, it wasn't awful, but it just wasn't anything special. I kept reading, when I looked the movie up the first time, I read a couple reviews or some synopsis, and just everybody was talking about the twist ending and how shocking and wild it was, but I didn't get that feeling at all, because to me, I saw everything coming a mile away. They were way too obvious and on the nose with their foreshadowing, and the score played a part of that. Like, early in the movie, the score is eerie for no reason, like nothing creepy had happened yet. And then just how often they would spell something out that you knew would come back into play again. To me, it would have been a much better movie if everything just seemed like a normal friend group get together. They hadn't seen each other in a while. And then there's a sudden tone shift. But instead, it was like this weird tone from the beginning, but nothing. There was no reason to be suspicious of anyone until the cult talk started. But that wasn't shocking enough, because everything up to that has made you feel like something's off with this group. One thing that did stand out to me was Jay Larson, who played Ben. I texted you guys this in the group. I knew he looked familiar, like the first time I saw him on screen. And then I saw his name in the credits on IMDb and immediately knew where I knew him from. His stand-up bit about getting a call from the wrong number is one of my favorite stand-up bits. I definitely recommend checking that out. It's hilarious. But anyway, I think this movie is just an okay movie.
All right. And again, thank you to Michael Hazelson for his legendary blood donor donation. Anybody that wants to join in and have us review a movie at some point, don'tgooutthere.com. Anybody have anything else before we jump into the scene by scene? Michael.
Yeah,
Michael,
I heard.
you're raising your hand.
Yes, I heard. Well, I have a slow lag, buddy. I'm sorry. I heard from some rumor and innuendo through the grapevine that if Freddie doesn't come out with another movie in the next 3 years, that Dustin and Nico agreed to change our logo to have the Midsummer headdress thing instead of Freddie being a part of it.
I mean,
Brian, you cool with that, buddy?
I've been looking for a reason to retire. That would be actually really good.
Here's an idea, and I'm just spitballing here. But our logo could just be the maypole with all of our all of our 4 animated characters like dancing around it.
That's
true.
Just
an idea.
It's true.
It's an idea.
Could
all
be.
right, let's get into the scene by scene. We open up with Will, who, like I said, looks like Daniel Bryan, zoning out while he's driving his girlfriend, Kira, to, we learn through them talking, the Hollywood Hills home of his ex-wife, Eden, who is hosting a dinner party with her new husband, David, whom she met in a grief group. Holy shit, Eve screams and Will almost drives off the road after hitting a coyote, which we still hear whimpering and has to be put out of his misery with a tire wrench. Fuck this movie already, man. Back in the car, we get a fever dream credits opening and we pull up to the big ass house and learn Eden had that Michael Settle wealth. We see Will go down memory lane, seeing the ghost of Ty playing, and learn he and Eden were in grief counseling because of the death of their son, Ty. Their other dinner guests are Tommy, his boyfriend Miguel, and friends Ben, Claire, and Gina. Gina mentions that her boyfriend Choi, not Troy, fucking Choi, is running late. Eden is super evasive during the reunion with Will, and David is weirder. He also plays Ellis on World War Z, by the way. But they introduce Sadie, a girl she and David met in Mexico who is now staying with them, and a girl whom not 5 seconds earlier David saw standing butt-ass naked in the hallway. Will dismisses himself from the awkwardness and walks around his former home, reliving memories, including Eden's attempted suicide. In the kitchen, Eden interrupts his memory, and Will tells her she seems very different. Ben interrupts them, and then Eden slaps the shit out of Ben when he makes a joke about her ideas on expelling pain, saying she's shitting out her pain and it sounds fucking crazy. She tells him nobody gives a shit what he thinks, and that's the end of the first set of scenes there, mostly just introductions.
Yeah, I don't have a ton on this set of scenes, but you kind of mentioned it, the sudden braking of the car, that jump scared me big time on my first watch. My heart would have skipped so many beats if I was driving that car. And I know what Will is doing is the humane thing, and hear me out to all the animal lovers, but clubbing a coyote with a tire iron, I don't know why. I don't know. It was outrageous work. I'll just leave it at that. The music during these opening credits and the editing gives me major Get Out Jordan Peele vibes, and I quite liked it. I've never seen an entry gate like this, and like you mentioned, Brian, I wrote the same thing. This must be Mike's new crib, and he hasn't even invited us yet, but maybe we'll get to see it someday. This exchange amongst a group of friends is pretty weird and awkward, and I don't know, things just feel unsettling to me already. No reception, common horror trope now. Cell phones really threw a wrench into the horror movie making landscape. It's like, damn, nobody got a signal. This is Will's old house, and his ex-wife and her new man are occupying it. Boy, hell no, I would not be here. I'd be so damn ticked. Sadie gets way too kissy on David right in front of his wife Eden. Like, what the hell is going on here? And Will has to feel so damn awkward just watching all this go down. Hell of a flashback for Will, seeing your wife assumingly trying to cut herself, committing suicide. That's horrifying just to relive these memories. Now she jump scares him, saying how handsome he is, and there's bars on the windows. If I'm Will, I'm on my P's and Q's with this whole evening. And this is the last thing I got. I just thought it was a very awkward opening, but I'm intrigued to see where this all goes. Not a lot, but, like you mentioned, just kind of introducing everybody.
That was a good point, Nico, about the cell phone thing in modern cell phones or modern horror movies, because that's a plot ruiner pretty much every possible movie. Like, I don't know of a whole lot that you could get away with having a cell phone in there. Not
a problem in 1984. Like if I'm a camp counselor or a Camp Crystal, like I call somebody, hey, there's somebody with a machete out here. It's not really, you got to kind of move that plot hole along. So, yeah, I agree.
Mr. Reed took care of that. Can't call from Mr. Reed's house. Heretic.
Also, oh, geez, yeah. Dang. God, what a film. Man, what a film. Hugh Grant's the man. Anyway, so, Brian, you mentioned that, and maybe I missed it, and if I missed it, that's crazy, because I watched this movie twicey, okay? Did they actually mention that he's been in therapy for the death of his son at the top of the film?
Seeing, like, they didn't say it out loud, but seeing the ghosts of his son twice in the opening set is where I put it in there. So they didn't say it, but, I mean, he's seeing the ghosts of his son twice, though.
Yeah. For whatever reason, it just didn't register. So my whole time, I'm like, are we going to get to the first time I'm like, are we going to get to his trauma or whatever he's upset about? And I should have seen that. So sorry. But anyway, like Nico mentioned, look, hitting an animal is one of the few things that I really do hate, man. It makes me tear up occasionally. If it's not a cat, sorry, cat lovers. I'm just kidding. I would never be happy about hitting a cat. I'm just joking. However, Nico, you're 100% correct. I understand putting it out of its misery, but holy shit, that was funny. I'll just leave it at that. I can't put it in any better words than it was just funny. Holy shit. I don't know what to say. Will looks a lot like my old regional manager at GNC, which instantly puts him on my shit list. I don't like him. I end up liking him by the end of the film. But here in the early going, I'm like, he looks like that guy. I'm not going to name. Fucking asshole. I will say, any kind of horror movie that we get, I'm assuming in these California hills, right? I think it's a cool backdrop. I love the editing to the movie. I love a lot of the music. I like the way this movie looks. It's very darkly lit, almost the entire movie. I think they do a really good job with that. And I already hate this family. You know, these family friend hybrid group, whatever these are. I hate them. They're annoying ass white people. The worst kind, too. I can just tell automatically this is going to be the worst party ever. And boy, was I correct. Super awkward interaction for Will right in front of his girlfriend that he brought here. That would really piss me off. That had me heated, bro. Especially, like, man, not only am I back in my old house that I used to live in, you're here with your new husband. You made this awkward thing where you kind of tried to jump me from behind, fill me up a little bit. Weird shit. Anyway, Kira, who I like by the end of the movie, but snitches right away about them running over, and killing a coyote. Damn, why don't you, settle in a little bit, meet some more people, interact a little bit. Come on, man. And again, I'd kick old Kira to the curb, at least for the night. Now, last thing I have here is my man Ben got slapped for making a joke. I need people to lighten up, man. The joke Ben made was funny. That's all I'm going to say. I have a bad sense of humor.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I love these kinds of opens. Like, just drop us in the car with this couple with no context or anything, and just let us discover as we go. I love movies that open like that. And then, yeah, I know PETA hated this open. I don't know if we've ever heard an animal death like this one in a movie that we've covered. That was brutal to listen to. I feel like the score right here tries too hard, too early. Like, nothing eerie has happened. But the score when they arrive at the house just makes it feel like everyone's in danger, and I didn't like that. I feel like the camera was also way too tight on the introductions, like super close shots of their faces. It just felt odd to me, and it made the movie feel like more of a CW drama. I also feel like Will tries too hard to be mysterious or nonchalant. I don't know. Something about his nonverbal acting didn't click with me in these early scenes. Like, there's a difference in like being uneasy because you've been through trauma, and the last time you saw like it's bringing up a lot of memories. But I didn't get that feeling. He was acting kind of aloof, and that's weird because he's a really good actor. I will give him credit though. He's got motion though. Every woman at this house is practically throwing it at him. Insane. Kind of seemed like an overreaction from Eden to slap Ben. I mean, geez. And I don't know how I feel about it yet, but we'll see. There is a layer of mystery here regarding the group's past, so I'm at least intrigued.
Still in the kitchen, Will and Ben both talk about how weird both Eden and David are acting. Ben mentions that he and wife Amanda hate each other, but have such good angry sex that they make it work. Eden and David's friend Pruitt, played by friend of the show, Mr. Jingles himself, John Carroll Lynch, shows up, and we learn that there's no service, and Choi honestly should have been there by now. Will clocks David lock the front door and tells him there's a home invasion in the neighborhood, and the group joke about being on lockdown. Will makes him leave the key in the front door and makes a comment about it being his house now. Will goes outside for firewood and, through Eden's bedroom window, clocks her hiding a pill bottle, to which he follows in after her and ganks a few, almost being caught by David and having another memory of he and Eden and discussing a baby brother. Will returns to the group, and David and Eden tell their guests about a cult-like group that they have joined, along with Pruitt and Sadie, called The Invitation, which helps people work through their grief. David shows everyone a video in which the group's leader, Dr. Joseph, comforts a dying woman named Annie as she takes her last breaths.
How are you? I don't know. That's the most real statement I've heard in a while. Just welcome my brain and how I've been feeling lately. Pruitt arrives now, who is played by John Carroll Lynch, like Brian mentioned. We previously saw him in American Horror Story 1984 and Shutter Island. We have quite a few familiar faces in this flick. Michael Huseman, I think is how you say his last name. Stephen Crane from The Haunting of Hill House, but we'll see him again next week in Brian's pick, World War Z. Spoiled that, but I'm looking forward to rewatching that one. And Logan Marshall Green, we previously saw him in 2010's Devil. My ex-wife asked me to go get firewood after the new man so boldly said, "This is my house," would piss me off, boy. I was like, hell, make him go get it. I'm loving the sound usage here as Will walks outside reliving moments from his past. Will finds pills and David strangely tells him to join when he's ready. Like, everything to me is just so awkward right now. My kid walking in on us taking a bath is worse than kitchen sex from Orphan, right? It's at least on par. Like, this is weird. Like, why is my kid walking on me and my wife taking a bath? I don't know. That's just weird. Leo point me. They said the name of the movie. Cult stuff, huh? Okay, I'm in. I like some cult movies we reviewed on here in the past. A lot of them, I dig it. Dr. Joseph looks like a cult leader as well. He's creepy as hell, and I'd be very uncomfortable watching this right now with this group of people. I'd be wondering, why am I even being shown this? Why am I here right now? This last thing I got, another good set of scenes that increases my curiosity of just like, what the hell is going on, and just the increased awkwardness. I'm really just wondering what's going on.
Yeah, this is a much better character interaction that we get between Will and Ben here to open it up. It's like two old buds catching up. It was nice to see Will smile. That may be the only smile he lets out in the entire movie. Again, and like I mentioned, I guess I just missed it, so I'm going to read my notes how I took them. I want to know why Will's been gone for so long. There is that mystery, with this group, and I just wish that we could kind of see and kind of address that already. But I understand letting the awkward tension linger for a little while. But again, we're almost, a little bit into halfway into the movie, and we're just kind of, I don't know. I like the tension and the awkwardness throughout the film, but just kind of wish we got the trauma part out of the way a little bit earlier, I guess. Speaking of, solid character actors, Nico ran off a couple there, but John Carroll Lynch, also a solid character actor. Did I miss that while not paying attention to you, Nico? I'm sorry. Shutter Island. He's one of the guards, Gothica, and he's one of the Kroc brothers in the movie The Founder, about the founding of McDonald's. Great movie. Michael Keaton, if you haven't seen that. But yeah, so anyway, we get these little flashbacks, these little drippings of what happened in this house, why this house is bringing up all these bad memories. And I'll try not to harp on it, but the slow rollout is good. I like the hints that we get. We get to see, little flashbacks in Will's head, and then he kind of snaps out of it. So I do like that. And I like the tension. A 2-person bath with kids around is wild behavior, and I know for a fact that me and Brian would never stand for something like that with kids around just happening right in front of them. That is not what we're about on this show.
Listen, they were just taking a bath. Like, he didn't have it in. Like, they were just laying there.
So-
it wasn't, even,
So
it was nothing.
just like two fully adult or fully nude adults with a door open. That's fine. Just like
Well,
having sex
we
in the
saw
kitchen.
no nudity, so the kid
Yes, we
didn't
do.
see any nudity.
There was a nipple at the bottom of the screen.
I didn't see a nipple. Sorry,
did.
no nipple. I didn't.
Okay, well, Dustin, you're trying to, in the words of Bruce Pritchard, you're trying to apply logic to an illogical situation. I'll just be hypocritical and say, sex in the kitchen with Vera Farmiga, great. These two, out of hand, out of control, should have never happened. Anyway, and that's how I stand on that. But again, I mentioned I would want to leave this party as soon as it started to sound like this was about to be some cult shit. As soon as we got therapy speak and my life has changed and all this stuff, as soon as we got any kind of fucking, let me pop this video in for you, which I stand on. Hey, let me cast this video to your TV at the party. It's almost as annoying as the guitar in the corner guy. Like, man, everybody's vibing. We have a good aux guy going, and you want to show me some 1989 skit from Eddie Murphy on my TV. If you've ever been to a party like that, I fucking hate that kind of person. Anyway, side note, Ray from fucking Halloween is this cult leader? Are you fucking kidding me right now, man? Is everyone going to sit around in a circle and put peanut butter on their penises? Is that what this cult's
Maybe.
about? Because I'm not buying it.
Maybe.
I'm out of here, brother. I'm out of here. I ain't fucking doing it. What a buzzkill of a party, man. This thing stinks on ice. Again, I love how they're like, Annie's safe now. She's fucking dead. She's dead. Of course she's safe. She can't fucking feel anything. You fucking killed her. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, have a glass of wine. I've let it go, and so should you. No, get out of my face, Eden. You just assaulted me. Like, what is with these people? Where's the logic? And then, another familiar face joins the mix, John Carroll Lynch, who you guys mentioned. Which, honestly, seeing him made me more interested in the movie. I was willing to give it more of a chance once he appeared. But then, he said, why didn't you leave the key in the door? What? Like, who leaves a key in the door? And also, what kind of door locks by key from the inside? That whole scene annoyed me. It felt like forced tension. They went out of their way to point that out, and it bothered me. And it does come back into play, surprise. The flashback scenes, though, they are well done and well placed to add mystique, and the cult development is the first real point of interest for me. But if I'm here, this is where the movie ends. I'm leaving as soon as that little recruitment video ends. I'm good. Anyone who stays from this point forward deserves what happens to them. I'm still on the fence with this movie.
I guess I'm the only one that supports the bathtub scene. Okay. Everyone seems to have the same reaction to the video that I did, though. What the fuck was that? And at that point, my ass would be out of there too, just like you guys mentioned. I mean, Will asked why they'd show it at a dinner party, and I said, right? And then he tries to shut them down when they bring up Ty and he has to leave their room. The doorbell rings and David rushes outside using the excuse of it being a couple of people looking for a party to dismiss it. While outside, Will asks Miguel what the pill is that he found in Eden's room, and he tells him that he thinks it's phenobarbital, and to come back to join the group. After some more drinky drinks, the group sit back down in the living room to play a game called I Want. Sadie jumps up to go first, tells everyone that she loves them, and then kisses Gina. Party on. Gina asks for cocaine. Oh, yeah. And Mr. Jingles confesses to killing his wife and doing time in prison, and that he is cured because he accepted the invitation. But the one from 2015, not 2022. Eden kisses Ben, and Tommy has seen enough. He wants a blowjob. Claire is done, but says she's uncomfortable and wants to go. David tries to convince an unsettled Claire not to leave, but Will challenges him, and David lets her go. Claire leaves, accompanied by Mr. Jingles, whose car is blocking Claire's. Will watches Pruitt take Claire out of sight to talk to her, and that's the end of the set of scenes.
Nothing to be afraid of. I'm terrified just sitting here watching all this. What are you talking about, David? Good point, Will. I'm asking the same thing. Why are you showing this at a dinner party with no warning? Like, this is crazy. Pruitt said not everybody gets it. What is it, an A24 movie? It's a good one right there. I know. As soon as David mentioned that, I'm out. If I'm Will, fuck you, man. Don't talk about my dead son. Like, that's just some things the other man's just not allowed to bring up, and that would be it for me. David continues to be very suspicious. The way he walks, his body language, his facial acting, he's just very creepy in this movie. They're a little Manson-y, excuse me, Charles Manson, the cult leader. Yeah. I mean, I won't disagree with Dustin or anybody who says, like, this movie would be over 30 minutes into it because I'm just leaving. But then you don't have a movie, but I do get that thought. I get it. I never wanted to force my beliefs on you while standing above everyone. Seems very cult leaderish to me, David, just keeping it real, brother. Very fun game of I Want going on until Pruitt kills the mood, admitting he just killed his wife. This is horrifying. Why isn't this guy still in prison? How did he get out already? And I'm right there with you, Gina. I have the exact same what the fuck face as you do right now. I agree with Claire. It definitely feels like something is being sold right now. This is some bull jive. Now Eden is making out with Ben. What in the blue hell is going on at this party? And this is the last thing I got. If I'm Claire, there's no way I'm stopping for Pruitt. I'm getting the hell out of Dodge as fast as I can.
Yeah, I will back into his car. Fuck him. I am not going outside with Pruitt. Absolutely not. Man, every time I have the word Pruitt written, I want to do Monsignor Pruitt because, anyway, sorry. That's our series show, not our movie show. Anyway, I hate these kind of people that try to explain away this way to ruin the party, this cult-like video that he just showed. Like, oh, you're overthinking it. It's not a big deal. And they do that throughout the movie to Will, and it pisses me off. I hate when that happens. So these fuckers, David and Eden, brought everybody here to have a cult therapy session. Fuck you. You're the worst. I'm out. Like Dustin said, as soon as he hit stop on that video, I'm out of here. I'm not staying. Can't fucking make me. And look, I came to have some drinks and catch up. In the great words of Dave Chappelle, I'm drinking to get away from my problem, not take on yours, which is true. So don't come around here with all your grief and stuff. This is supposed to be a nice, fun get-together, man. This half-hearted apology that David gives for showing the video, guy's a loser. Also, this kind of game, good party game, a little bit like a Never Have I Ever, hold your fingers up and all that stuff. Not quite the same, but you get it. But it's a dangerous thing to do at a party, by the way. Just especially if you're people that you don't know out here having to confess stuff you don't want to people you've never met before. I don't know. Seems like a terrible idea. I'm glad I don't do that anymore. At least my girl here is honest about wanting the Coke. Hell yeah. She should bring out the booger sugar and liven this suck fest up. That's what I'm saying. Throw it out on the table. Let's get it going. That would be way better than whatever this is. And then we have this confessional from Pruitt. I don't know what, dude. This man confesses to killing his wife, and everyone's just supposed to stay and be okay with this. No, man. I would at least punch this guy in the face or something. Just awful. You just lay this shit about being in prison for it on all these people. And good for Claire for fucking standing up for herself and everyone else. And I love this line. It feels like you're trying to sell us something. No shit. No shit. That's exactly what they're trying to do. It's just not a product per se. They're trying to sell you something. Again, and then Will also kind of stands up for Claire as she's trying to leave, and David tries to keep her there, which I appreciated. A little bit of showing you who's who in this room, who's a good guy, who's a bad guy, who's a heel. Last thing, I had the same thing here, Nico. I would not have tried going outside. Don't go out there, with Pruitt at all. Dude, I'll leave on foot. Fuck that. I wouldn't go out there with a guy who just confessed to killing his wife. No way.
Yeah, I hate these people. Like, I was seriously at this point waiting for Jim Jones to bring the Flavor Aid in at any moment. It's really tough to take notes on this set of scenes because I just kept wondering why Will hadn't left yet, and also kept disliking the generic and vague conversations. Like, nothing was really drawing me in. But I will play along with them. I'll play I want to leave this house and never see these people again, especially when Sadie goes around and names everyone in the room individually, and her want was just to say, I love you. I hate these people. Lynch's monologue was good, though. It felt real and authentic. He's so good. He's such a good actor. But his revelation, that's all the more reason to leave. Man murdered his wife, and we're just going to breeze past that? No. Then it gets even weirder somehow. And Claire finally had the right idea. Finally, someone has some logic. More people should have had that idea.
All right, we're at the halfway point here. David pulls Will away to talk to him alone and says he's been acting very suspicious of their hospitality. Yeah, no shit. Will apologizes, but basically tells him to shut the fuck up, that they don't know each other. Attaboy. The group eat dinner while my guy Will continues to battle the demons of his past in his head. Let's take a minute and appreciate that line of writing right there. After dinner, Will hears some weird growling sounds and investigates, finding Sadie making some weird faces into a mirror. And what the fuck was the point of that scene, by the way? Maybe you guys can expound on that. But she makes eye contact with him and follows him outside. She says shit doesn't seem good with Kira and asks him to fuck her right there by the pool. Will politely declines and is almost instantly startled by Tommy, who he tries to reiterate about the weird, unsafe atmosphere that he feels at the party. But Tommy reassures him that it is natural to feel strange about visiting the house and that Will is brave for showing up. Okay. Tommy leaves to return to the party while Will stays outside and finally gets a cell phone signal. Finds a voicemail from Choi indicating that he was at Eden and David's doorstep before the other guests. Boom, boom, boom. Go ahead, Nico.
Yeah, this dynamic between Will and David is so weird. David has a lot of nerve calling out Will for acting strange. Brother, you've been on some nut shit since we got to this place. Like, he has every reason to think you're weird, dude. Like, give me a break. I have no doubts Pruitt hurt Claire in some way. Did we get that reveal later? Like, I can't remember. Did they ever say anything about Claire? I don't think we saw her later on, but I can't remember. Sorry, Mike Adelson, if I missed that, I apologize.
No, I don't think so. I think you're absolutely right, because I was wondering the same thing. But I have no idea.
I mean, I don't trust Pruitt. I mean, he's already proven he's a woman killer, so... But anywho, back to this. This dinner looks way too rich for my blood. This is a different tax bracket kind of dinner. And it just didn't even look appetizing. Them carrots or whatever them things were look awful. In this moment, I wonder if Will is speaking out to Kira or if this is on out-of-body experience as he zones in and out reflecting on memories of his dead son. And what the hell is Sadie doing in the mirror? I guarantee she has crystals in her bedroom. Sadie is throwing that cooch at Will, and man has some willpower because she's talking a big game right now. I'm sure 90% of men would fold under this, but Will did not. You can hurt me if you want. Yeah, this girl's insane. She really said that. This girl's nuts. Will has come back to his...
That's the line that would have made me fold. I wouldn't hurt her, but just the girl saying that I could, Yeah.
Will has come back to his former home where he's still healing from his son dying and being told he's acting weird. This man is suffering, I tell you what, and he can't catch a break. Like, dude, just leave the house. And this is the last thing I got. Going to go ahead and jump ahead a little here. Why wouldn't Choi call Will back and tell him he left the house and there's no need to stop? He got called into work. Tell somebody. Like, that really bothers me. And I just don't buy that at all. I don't like that at all.
There you go.
Yeah, so I, too, am suspicious of your hospitality, David. I am also very suspicious. So it's not just Will here that's seeing it that way. Look, and all these people are acting like nice guys, him and Pruitt, trying to make Will feel bad for clearly seeing what's going on in front of them. I mean, this is clear cult trying to manipulate initiation bullshit. I hate these kind of people. Like me, actually, for once in a blue moon, me and Dustin are in this thing together, brother. I hate everyone at this party, to be honest, except for Will. Like, occasionally I like Will because he does stand up for people and, you know, tries to save people a little bit. So I do occasionally like Will. Outside of that, I fucking hate everybody at this house. Again, more flashbacks to, you know, what happened in quote unquote in the past, but we're an hour into the movie and we haven't really addressed it. Like, I know he has those visions of his son, but I guess I just missed those. So again, just we're over an hour in and I'm not really figuring out what Will and Eden went through, I guess. I will say these scenes, I know he's kind of staring off into the distance and kind of having an out of body experience like Nico mentioned, but these scenes were scenes where Will is watching people through the window. Super creepy to me. Like, really well shot, very effective, but like so kind of weirdly out of character. I know they're supposed to build tension, but I don't know. Felt a little out of place. Nothing wrong with them per se. By the way, I hear what Dustin's saying. I understand he would fold. And it'd be hard not to fold too. But fuck you, Sadie. You're the worst. You're the worst kind of person. That's how they get you in a cult, Dustin. That's how you would end up in this fucker's cult. Because you'd fold with Sadie, and that would not be good for you, brother.
Bro, and it's crazy because it's not even about like how she looks or anything. I'm not saying she's ugly, but she kind of looks like Hillary Swank.
I know.
She's not my cup of tea. But it's knowing that she's damaged goods. Like, she is insane. And I like that. All I'm saying, and you're right, that is how I would end up in a cult, or worse. I said it on Knock Knock. That's the way to get me.
You've already got the head shave. You're in, buddy. Peanut butter on your penis, and you're locked in, dude.
Well,
you're
my God.
Well, what happened? What? That's, dude, Ray somehow made it out of the fire and made it into this cult. Now he's a leader and everyone's got peanut butter on their dicks. Anyway, my boy Tommy here is a good egg. Okay. Actually, this movie came out before that one, so technically he left the cult and rekindled his romance with Karen or not with Allison, that'd be weird, with Karen, and reconnected with his daughter Allison and turned into a normal guy that likes to tell shitty jokes and embarrass out. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We could do that. Yeah, that's fine. That's a much better universe than having a peanut butter on penis cult. Tommy is a good egg, and I think it's about time we had a movie that's with someone that's not like just a total piece of shit. He's at least trying to comfort Will, trying to be there for him, trying to be good. I just wish, we had a movie, one horror movie, where somebody says they feel something is off and wrong, and somebody believes them. I'm sick of the trope, man. I'm sick of the malarkey. Cut it. All right. Last thing, who the fuck is Choi? I know you talked about Choi earlier, but I kind of forgot all about him. Who the fuck is Choi? Obviously we find out here in about 2 minutes who Choi is, but still, I don't understand. Anyway, I don't know why I wrote who the fuck is Choi, but I took these notes at 6:30 in the morning, so that's probably why.
Yeah. Can you and I talk alone for a minute? No, bro. We can't. I'm leaving. Again, whatever happens to these people, they all deserve it. Also, is Michael, I'm probably going to say his name right or wrong, Huisman, is he not like the king of taking roles that just like thinks everything is normal? Because we see it here, he's acting like this cult stuff's normal. And then in Hill House, Stephen Crane, he's like, no, none of this stuff's really happening. Everything's normal. Like, what is going on here? More flashback scenes that I think are well done. They look good. They add some more intrigue and an actual feeling of unease. Sadie being weird, making all those faces, and then coming up to Will, suggesting he's having relationship problems, and then offering up the box, knowing his girlfriend is right inside. Yeah, leave, bro. Like, what are you doing? I'm so frustrated at this point. Especially when he gets he hears the voicemail saying that Choi had already been there. I don't know. I don't hate it. I don't hate this movie, but I'm growing extremely frustrated with everyone sticking around and just acting like, this is normal. They're just quirky.
After finding the voicemail, Will is on a fucking mission. Not impossible. Once he walks back inside and the lights go out, but it's not the Undertaker. No, it's Eden and David approaching with a birthday cake for Tommy. When the lights come back on, Will calls everybody out on this, quote, fucking denial. He accusingly voices that something's happened to Choi, and whew, things start to go off the rails when the doorbell rings. Because guess what? It's Choi, making Will look like a chode. Will is embarrassed and apologizes to everyone. While they accept his apology, blaming it on residual grief over Ty's death, causing him to behave irrationally. Will excuses himself, and Kiro meets him on the porch, trying to get him to leave. Fucking leave, man! By the way, I'm just going to interject my 2 cents here. These two don't even seem like a couple, like, at all. There's, like, zero development there with that, in my opinion. Anyway, the two begin talking about Will's grief over losing his son, and he walks back in and asks to see Ty's old room. And in a heartbreaking scene, he travels back to a happier time and place while inside the room. Will sees David light a red lantern in the garden, which I'm sure means nothing, who just doesn't have one of those in the garden. I'm sure that won't come back later. Perusing some more, Will finds a MacBook and opens it up. Not password protected. Just asking for malware there. On the laptop, he plays a foreboding message from Dr. Joseph encouraging everyone to transcend. He's interrupted by Mr. Jingles and told to go downstairs where everyone is waiting. He closes the laptop, and the next set of scenes is the ending.
Yeah, I love the sound design as Will walks back inside. Like, I'm probably making Dustin cringe saying that. Pruitt so subtly saying, "You're out of line." I don't know why, but that sent me, and it was so funny the way he delivered that line. Powerful outburst of emotion given by Will, and why not leave with Kira right now? Like, she's saying, let's go. Why not leave? I don't know. Maybe he's just wanting to stick around and protect his former baby mama. I don't know, but, like, dude, just leave. I wonder if Choi showing up now was planned or if he was on standby. Like, I don't buy him not telling anyone he had to go back to work, and he just shows up very conveniently at this moment. I like all these cuts with Will to reflecting on his son's past. I can imagine it being very traumatic being in the same spots where you and your dead son shared moments together. Like, that was tough. And that's tough for Kira, too. I love you, but I don't think you can help me. I'm not even sure if I was her where to even go from there. Like, all right. Everyone staring at me as I walk back in would be the cherry on top for this unusual night. Imagine that if your ex-wife said, no, you can't go see your son's old room, though. That would have been, they should have done that just to fuck with him. Like, that would have been interesting, at least. Why is David turning this mysterious red light on outside, alerting others of something else, maybe? I find it odd Pruitt is the one coming to get Will from his son's room. It should have been Eden right there to me. Like, I don't know. This Pruitt guy is just kind of weird. And this is the last thing I got, Mike. I just thought it was another good set of scenes, and I'm just ready for the ending, and the ending is where I have the most amount of notes.
Yeah, I took it as that was just a signal to everybody else in that cult all over in the neighborhood or whatever that they're starting. So maybe they could start too or something. I don't know.
Brian, spoiler warning. Come on, brother. I'm just kidding. Sorry. Anyway. Just kidding, man. Just kidding. I really like Will and his outbursts in this scene. I think it's a good job. Finally, someone's kind of saying the quiet part out loud, which it was about damn time that happened. And I know they kind of make him look crazy because of the Choi stuff. And while he was wrong there, he's not wrong overall. You know, it's just like sometimes, you got to get the details or all the details are mixed up. So again, I like that he told them about their bullshit. And finally, after over an hour and change into this movie, we see, Will's son and his head, like all the stuff, what happened, everything that went down there. We get to see more. And it is a touching scene. It is very upsetting. And I can't imagine that, being in that house, let alone that room that's been changed to look as, a different way where you had memories with your son would just be devastating and heartbreaking. Again, Will is asking elite questions here, to be fair to him. It's fair for him to be this skeptical. And Nico, you mentioned it. Not only did Pruitt have the line of "you're out of line," but he also went and got a second plate and brought that shit back up, and I thought that was fucking hilarious. I was like, "Yeah, Pruitt, go get you another plate, you fucking murdering bastard. You go ahead and do that." I am invested now in Will and his story. Really makes me wish we'd kind of seen a little bit more of that earlier, or addressed the grief and trauma head on earlier. I think it makes his character more interesting. Brian touched on something. It makes his character or his dynamic with Kira more interesting, because up until this point, they have no interweaving as a couple other than the fact that they showed up here together and they're a couple. Like, I know that's just supposed to be established, but like, they don't interact like boyfriend and girlfriend very much. Like, I don't know, very odd pairing. Only because they haven't really done anything to make it seem like they're together other than just, hey, we're here together. So I don't know. Last thing here, I hate when people in movies make the guy that's obviously right feel really fucking stupid, and they do that again in this movie. Actually, they do that to Will twice, where it's like, no, you're wrong. And he ends up being wrong. No, you're wrong. Well, something's obviously off. How is no one else seeing it? Especially once this motherfucker go and lights a red light, which, by the way, red lighting, off-putting. Anyway, go ahead.
This is the least amount I have in the whole movie. When Will goes back inside, finally, he shows some real emotion and speaks out. It's like, what have you been waiting for? But then he showed that he is, in fact, a moron. When Kira wanted to leave, and he said he's not going anywhere. Bro, get in the car. Choi showing up kind of make him look like a buffoon, though. Like, all the cool stuff you just said was wrecked. Like, you look incredible or uncredible and like an idiot. If I'm Kira and I tell him again, let's leave, and he says he can't, yeah, he's on his own then. Bye. I'm really hoping they stick the landing, because I'm still on the fence with this movie.
All right, well, here's the landing. Downstairs, David and Eden are pouring some more drinks for everyone to toast, and Will says, fuck those glasses, and smashes them all, obviously fearing they're poisoned. Sadie attacks Will and is tossed against a table, knocking her the fuck out. But it's too late for Gina, who had sipped her drink before Will's intervention. She collapses and dies. Miguel is trying to perform CPR when David, bam, shoots his ass from behind. Pruitt takes the gun from David and shoots Choi. Sadie is now up and cuts Miguel with a knife, while Will and Kira flee and hide inside the house. Will and Kira overhear David tell Eden that they have been chosen, and that finishing what they started is the only path forward, and they can leave the earth and be free of their pain. Will takes a fireplace poker from Sadie, whom he finds dying of her injuries, and Pruitt walks upstairs and spots the duo. By the way, how did Sadie... I don't remember seeing her get even stabbed, so I don't know what happened to her, so help me out with that, guys. But Will knocks the gun out of his hand, but overpowers them both until Kira smacks the shit out of him with a wine bottle and then proceeds to beat him to death. The two walk out of the room to find Eden with a gun, who promptly shoots Will in the stomach and then turns the gun on herself and shoots herself in the stomach. Kira grabs the gun, but it's empty, because that would have been too easy. Tommy attacks Will and is able to stab him to death as well. Back upstairs, Eden is not dead yet and asks him to take her outside to the garden. Did we forget that Will has a shotgun wound? Okay. Or a gun wound. He has been shot. Outside, we hear sirens and screams and helicopters overhead. We see more than a dozen nearby homes with red lanterns and realize the cult carried out similar plans all around them. And that is the ending.
Yeah, and this is the set of scenes that has the most, so I got the most as well. This is from the IMDb spoiler section, but all the wine at the party is poured directly from the bottle until this final round, which is poured from a decanter. This detail provides a hint to the viewer and to Will that the party has become dangerous. And I guess I just wasn't locked in like I should have been, but I didn't notice that until I read that, so I like that it was included. This outburst from Will scared me again, but the red flags were there. Why is Sadie trying to attack him, though? Make it make sense. Also, not a fan of the editing of her getting slammed into that wall or desk or whatever it was. I don't know, it didn't flow right, and it just looked cheap. It didn't look like it was done well. Gina foaming at the mouth is the proof Will was right. This was some cult stuff, Jim Jones vibes. Shit officially hits the fan when David starts shouting. The chaos and it all being around the table gives me some You're Next vibes. And to no one's surprise, Pruitt is evil and in on it too. Damn it. Sadie is insane. She acts like what I imagine the spider monkey from Talladega Nights would be if that ever came to fruition. Ben with the old stab and gunshot death combo, you hate to see it. Great tension as Will and Kira sneak through the house and upon David, still persuading Eden to go through with killing herself. David didn't believe his house was haunted, but believes this invitation mumbo jumbo. Make it make sense. That's a Haunting of Hill House reference to everyone listening. Pruitt backhands the hell out of Kira. I was like, damn, Pruitt, you smacked the shit out of her. It got a huge pop out of me. And don't be afraid, he has a plan for us. Wild to me that people fall for this stuff. Like, give me a break, man. Kira, shout out to her, continues to pummel Pruitt with the wine bottle and not hitting him once and running off, or hitting him once and dropping the bottle. Good writing. Thank you, Phil Hay and Matt Manfredi. Thank you. Like, that's one of my biggest horror movie pet peeves. Like, stop dropping your damn weapon and kill him. Wild swing of events here. Eden shoots Will, then shoots herself in the gut. Alrighty then. I guarantee you Kira never goes to another white folks function again after this shit. Shout out Tommy, Randy Orton, David out of nowhere killing him with a knife, but I gotta admit the kill was very underwhelming. Like, he deserved a better death than that for this movie. Emotional ending carrying Eden outside in a trio group hug. This has been a hell of an evening for this group. And this is the last thing I got. Now we hear gunshots from nearby and see more of these red lamps all over. This cult was convincing, I tell you what, and I'll be honest with you, Mike, I knew that guy looked familiar, but I didn't put it together that this was Ray from the Halloween movie. Like, this guy, he's convincing. So, good for Ray.
Well, yeah. Okay. And I have a nitpick here. And I think I may have already said it, but maybe I haven't said it in this way. Because I actually do like this movie quite a bit, but I also hate it for the reasons I like the premise a ton. This pacing is really brutal to me, though. Like, there is a way to do slow burn without saving this all for the very end. We're about to hit the climax. Pause. We're about to hit the main part. And we're about to stuff 50 pounds of shit into a 5-pound bag. It feels like this story could have been spread out a little bit more for me. Like, a little more engaging, a little less just people sitting around. And again, they do a great job keeping suspense and tension and things like that. But I just, now we're stuffing it all in here at the end. And for whatever reason, that just didn't land with me as much as I wanted it to. Now, I like the ending, right? Again, everyone that ended up drinking, quote unquote, the Kool-Aid is fucking dying, shocker. And again, just kind of, going around the room, figuring out who's all in on it, all the usual suspects. I kind of forget that Eden wasn't totally prepared for this situation. Now, I'd seen this movie previously around the time that it first came out. I just kind of forgot about it. And I forgot that she's not really, she knows what's going to happen, but I don't think she's totally mentally prepared for everything that takes place. And obviously it didn't go according to David's plan in the first place. Again, we do have some great tension here as they're kind of doing a chase-ish scene around the house because we don't really know what the plan ends up being. Now, again, I think it's pretty obvious it's going to be a major cult. There's a reason he went out and lit that red light. But I like, they're kind of still a little bit of mystery to it and why we're still watching this unfold. I do like, it's a very little thing, okay? But Will goes to kind of get out of Dodge with Kira, and he hits a wall where there used to be a door there. And, maybe I'm looking too far into this. Maybe I need to put the down, you know what I mean? But to me, the marijuanas, as Brian would say back in the 50s, I think this is a little bit of a metaphor for things don't always stay the same, right? He thought, it was like, man, there used to be a door here. I swear there used to be a door here. And he kind of freaks out about it. And it's, not everything can stay the same. Things change all the time, Will, and that's maybe a way to confront that because he does find another way out, obviously. So I thought that was fun. Look, I love what Kira does here. Hell yeah. Gets her a good kill, totally redeems herself. Look, Eden totally fucked this night up, though. Like, if she had a plan with David, she totally fucked it up. She poorly executed. She's one of the worst sidekicks to a plan I've ever seen. I will say gut-wrenching. It is a gut-wrenching scene to end things with her and Will. Obviously, they still have that care for each other. I think that's pretty obvious. And I thought this was a very sad, heartbreaking scene in a way to end it. Feels like she could have been saved potentially from this BS cult, or maybe she was too far gone. I don't know. But then we get the ending. Everyone lights the red lights. It's fine, right? Again, I think I did kind of see it coming. Obviously, I've seen the movie before, so I was like, oh, yeah, that's how it ends. And that's a lot. It's been out since 2015. It's also in a lot of the artwork, too. Like if you Google The Invitation 2015, there's pictures of those red lights through all the house. So you know that scene's coming at some point. But I think it's a good movie. I love its premise and I love the tension that it builds. God, it feels like we took 10 hours to get to something happening besides people sitting around and talking.
Yeah, I'm not drinking that wine, man. Like, Will was right to freak out. Clearly, he ended up being right. But, he did kind of go overboard tossing Sadie like that. I mean, she shouldn't have started slapping him, but you got to know your strength, man. And, yeah, Nico, the thing that you mentioned about the final wine being in a decanter, I did notice it, and that was one of those things. It's like, it's too, for me, I guess it clearly wasn't for everyone, and that's fine. But to me, it was just like too on the nose, too obvious. I don't know. I didn't expect David to shoot, bro. I mean, I expected death in this movie, but not by gunfire like that. Then, big surprise, the doors and windows are locked. Not like they hadn't pointed that out multiple times earlier. But I go back to, they all deserve this. Nothing about this whole night has made me think these guests should see it through. They all should have seen this coming. Glad Kira saved Will. I will say old Jingles is a lot harder to hide from when you can't hear his keys. And if someone ever apologizes after shooting me, that's a kind of pissed off that I'll never get over. I would rather get shot with malice than regret. Do not apologize after you shoot me. I don't know why these people stuck around after David was stabbed. Leave, idiots. Like, I don't care what my history with Eden was. She shot me. I'm gone. I don't care what happens to the rest of them. I'm just escaping. And then the ending. Okay. I mean, what did this cult start an apocalypse when all the cult members killed themselves? That was a miss to me. All the red lights lit up or whatever. I thought it was just Roxanne. She didn't have to put on a red light. But to me, the world's a better place. This world in this movie is a better place. All these cult members have killed themselves. Threat eliminated. There's no need for them to be like, oh my God. It's like, okay, we don't have to worry about getting recruited now. All the members are dead. I think it was just an okay movie.
1 second. Dustin, great song reference to Roxanne, by the way. It's also a hell of a drinking game, by the way. Jesus, if you have to drink every time they say Roxanne, if you got a big group, one side of the room drinks when they say Roxanne, the other side drinks when they say red light, and that's fucking nuts. You get hammered really quickly doing that. Anyway, second thing is we got to give more respect to Ray from Halloween, quote unquote. That's Toby Huss, man. Toby Huss, who voiced a lot. He does a lot of movies, but he's also the voice of Consupa Nusumpone, the original voice of Consupa Nusumpone. Not in this new reboot because not allowed to do other cultures, I suppose. But he is going to replace Hardwick as the voice of Dale Gribble going forward. So pretty fun there. Sure, there's a David Arquette connection there some way, buddy.
All right, let's jump into our social media comments and questions. I'll knock out the gram real quick. APZ84 commented, the anxiety and tension in this movie goes crazy. I'm with you. Like, I was there, like, especially the anxiety part. Like, what the hell is going on with these weirdos? And the last comment we got is from Jenny Conway02. Love, love, love this movie. The edginess is incredible. The whole film is completely unsettling with a fire emoji. Dustin, you got the old X's pulled up?
Yep. And back to you. Nothing on X or Blue Sky.
I'll take care of Facebook. There is also nothing on there.
All right, we can jump into our fun facts. I just want to read one thing real quick. This is just about the drug that was used, phenobarbital. In massive doses, phenobarbital is prescribed to terminally ill people to allow them to end their life through physician-assisted suicide. So I think we know who's in that wine at the end.
I was about to say, I didn't realize until right now that that's the drug that they used, but it makes sense that they called it out at the beginning of the show. I just thought she was just on it because she's being crazy. It didn't ever occur to me that was what was in the drink.
But I mean, define large doses, though. Like, how many of those?
This many.
Yeah. So
come on, man.
So you put that many's
in. Is that the 28 years later, Girth? I'm sorry.
Oh, Samson. That's a half-baked reference. But, I don't know. It annoyed me that he even found that pill. Why are you going snooping? And even just because you find a pill in someone's nightstand, why is that bothering you?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Especially at a party where a girl openly asks for cocaine and receives it? Are you shocked that there's drugs in the house?
That's true. That's true.
If y'all got any fun facts, go ahead.
I got a couple, but go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah, I just got a couple. In the scene when Will recalls his son Ty's bedroom, a seemingly random assortment of toys scatter on the floor, including lettered blocks. Logan Marshall Green, who plays Will, admits that he left an intentional Easter egg in this scene, which is that he used the blocks to spell out the name Kusama in honor of the film's director, Karen Kusama. That's cool. Zachary Quinto, Luke Wilson, and Topher Grace were originally cast in major roles. I don't know. That might have helped me because, like I said, some of my issue with this movie was the acting, or I think it was more the dialogue writing. But either way, that would have been interesting. And then the last one I have is that John Carroll Lynch was in Beautiful Girls with David Arquette.
Nice. I just have two. The director and writers had complete creative control on the film, as it was independently produced without any involvement from major studios. And this is Carl Yunes, who played Choi's first film in 4 years after Real Steel in 2011. That's a good film, by the way. And as of 2020, this was his last theatrical film.
Nice.
I do think that this movie could have. I think this movie could have benefited from some studio input, but that's just me.
Carl Yunes is still alive, by the way. He just, I guess, quit acting.
Man, Dustin, you must hate this if you want studio interference from an indie movie.
No, I mean,
yes.
I just think that there's a reason that studios are as successful as they are. Sometimes they can help, and I think that this movie, with some tweaks, could have been much better because it's not awful.
That's fair. But I mean, to me, like this whole movie is like if you can't get over the invitation thing, like just not leaving. Like I don't know, that's probably one of the biggest nitpicks is like just leave, but you can't if you can't leave because there's no movie.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like they forced tension early. They blew their load early with the tension. It did not work for me because we're suspicious before anything suspicious happened. And so therefore, when it happened, when something happened that made you raise an eyebrow, it wasn't shocking to me.
You know what they should have had? They should have had this on an island, and then they should have a cook, and he can cook a hamburger at the very end.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Just throw that out there. Or
just do this in like Sweden.
Yeah.
There you go.
You can't leave.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead, Mike, with the budget.
No, you're good. Had a budget of approximately $1 million.
Very, very limited theater release. Pretty much went straight to streaming, but not really.
The film grossed worldwide $354,835. Very, very limited release off a budget of $1 million. So,
alrighty, let's jump into our favorite kill, least favorite kill, and the rating. Dustin, do you want to kick us off so you can jot them all down?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go. I didn't have a favorite kill or least favorite kill. Like to me, they were all kills. Like I couldn't differentiate. As far as my final thoughts on the rating, though, the movie would have been about 20 minutes long if Will had any common sense and left when I first told him to. I think the movie would have been a lot better if they hadn't been so painfully obvious with the foreshadowing, make everything seem normal until it isn't. Instead, they laid it all out for us very early and often. The acting and dialogue wasn't very strong. The final act was good, but like I said, it didn't hit for me like it should have. I just thought it was an okay movie. It felt like a made-for-TV movie. I gave it a 5.
yeah, I'll go next. Like I said,
I love and hate this movie.
I love the idea of it. I like a lot of the execution. I think the movie is well made, especially for the budget. They do a good job with that budget, kind of keeping your interest, making it suspenseful. I'm just on the fence about how long it fucking took to get to something actually happening. Like, it felt really drug out. Now, it didn't ruin the whole movie for me. I like the payoff. Obviously, I think cults are an interesting topic. And so kind of exploring that in any horror movie, like Midsommar, this movie, there's other ones as well. I think it's a good topic to dive into. Just wish they would have done more stuff throughout the movie other than just kind of sit and talk at like the worst New Year's Eve party you can imagine. So, again, a lot of good stuff. I didn't really take down a favorite, least favorite kill because I honestly don't think that's the point of the movie. Almost everyone dies, but like 2 people. So pick one of those. I gave this movie a 7.25. I thought it was good. So more positive than negative. I just wish it would have picked up the pace just a smidge.
Yeah, I'll go next. My favorite kill, I did choose a favorite and least favorite kill. My favorite kill was Pruitt, just because Kara did the right thing. She kept pummeling with that wine bottle, and I appreciated that. That's just good writing, because that's something I have nitpicked about a lot in previous horror movies. Why hit your antagonist once and drop it and run away? That just irks me to death. Least favorite kill was David. I just thought, he just gets snuck up from behind, stabbed in the chest one time, and he falls over, he's dead. I don't know. It was just underwhelming to me. Like, it could have been better than that. Like, they had some decent action going on. I like this movie, and I understand the pacing issues if you bring that up, but I was just invested in Will's character. Like, he had some trauma going on. Like, he was dealing with his dead son, going to his ex-wife's house. Like, I was just appreciating his story, and I'm a big Hill House fan, so I was invested with Michael Huseman's character. We need to look that up. Jamie, pull that up, because I couldn't pronounce his name during Hill House either, for Pete's sake. So I'm gonna learn how to say this man's last name eventually. But I just thought he was very unsettling throughout as well. And John Carroll Lynch, big fan of his as well, from AHS and other things we've seen him in. But I won't disagree that there are some things that frustrated me, like Choi just not mentioning anything. And just, I can understand the whole just leave thing. Like, I get that as well. But I gave the movie a 7.75. Go ahead, Brian.
That is friend of the show, John Carroll Lynch, by the way, who did the intro for this episode. Appreciate that. My favorite kill, I put Pruitt shooting Miguel. The surprise of it, I liked it. And my least favorite kill was Sadie. And I don't really understand what she died from. I guess I didn't see it on screen, or I missed it. My final thoughts, again, I hated the movie until the end. I absolutely loathed it. And I can't think of another movie that I've seen where the ending saved it in my eyes like this one did. Probably a 3 or a 4 until that last set of scenes. And I ended up giving it a 7.
We'll throw it over to blood donor Mike Azelson now to hear his thoughts on the film.
Hey guys, thanks for reviewing 2015's The Invitation. This is just something I stumbled upon when I was just surfing the internet searching for best horror movies by year, and this one stumbled upon me, and I heard the premise, and I said, I'll give it a try. Anyway, slow burn. I really liked it. You could feel tension brewing. You could feel dread on the horizon. You can feel paranoia. All these feelings that just get under your skin a little bit. Put yourself in a position like that, and man, it's just crazy to think about. Anyway, I was pleasantly surprised by this one. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. And once again, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right, that gives us a composite score for this one at a 6.75. IMDb has it at a 6.6, Letterboxd 3.3. Rotten Tomatoes, 90% of critics enjoyed the movie. Thought it was good.
Nice. I'll take that. I know you weren't a big fan, but at least it's good to see an indie horror movie do successful. Like, we'll always be thankful for that. Yeah, Mike, appreciate your blood donor donation. I've been a fan of both of your movies, this and The Collector. They're very different for sure, but I like both of them. Speaking of blood donors, let's shout those out. Michael Azelson, we just did his review. Appreciate you, brother, always. Sean Irwin, legendary blood donor, will do his pick maybe at the end of Brian's theme, maybe before we start Dustin's. We appreciate you, Sean, always. Camper level reoccurring, Nina, the Horror Movie Crew podcast, Michelle Mirza, Steve Schmidt, and Matt from the UK. Camp counselor reoccurring, Edwin Hernandez-Gunn, Joe Swinford, Adrian Aiello. Hey, Adrian, since you DM, Jessica Roth picked your number for the free Happy Death Day to You thing, but you left me on scene, so I can't send you a code if you don't verify that you want the thing. So just reply back, or we can email you. Brian Samick, Andrew Ferguson, Brooke Maley, Heather Superdoc, Jennifer Davis, Me Too Close to Home Pod, Dana Tucker, Cole McAlexander, Max K, Madison Arzola, and Casey Smith. Really appreciate y'all. I mean, we got, almost 20 blood donors. That means a lot to us, helps us pay all these bills. Brian, what do you want to say, brother?
I just wanted to say also on that point there, Nina, gonna need you to check your IMs as well. Been trying to send you a shirt for a couple of months. Come on, Nina.
10-4. All right, we appreciate y'all tuning in. If you want to become a legendary blood donor, just go to our website, don'tgoouthere.com, click on donate, I believe. It's got all of our tiers. If you want to be a monthly, recurring kind, one-time donation, We definitely don't force anybody or beg you to be a donor because we're just, times are tough. We understand that. But I'm also I'm just the type, if I like a podcast or I like a creator, a YouTuber or something like that, I want to throw some love at them, support them. So if you want to do that for us, we'll gladly, we really appreciate that. It means a lot to us. And we will be back next week. Brian, announce your pick. What are you doing?
Absolutely.
What's your theme and what are we reviewing?
I think I just went with a free theme, a free month, so anybody can pick whatever they want to. I've really been wanting to pick this film for a while, and coincidentally enough, I guess zombies have been on my mind. So World War Z is what I went with, 2013's Brad Pitt, the best actor of all time, in the lead for World War Z. Edward Norton could never.
Edward Norton or Ethan Hawke would have made that movie better.
That's a long 6-year running joke, guys.
We appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll be back next week.
Happy Midsummer.
Jason fucking X.
Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next week. And in the meantime, take care of yourself.
Just want to remind everybody.